You can't see them. Anyway, right, we're about to get started, ladies and gentlemen. AI in water. Over to digital guru, Gigi.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for this exciting launch of this really unique company in digital water in our water sector. My name is Gigi Carmus Edwards. I'm an independent consultant. I'm also the founder and the co-chair of the SWAN Digital Twin Working Group. And I work with water utilities and technology companies around the world on this specific topic of digital twin. So I'm very excited to start this off by talking about why I feel like this is a very unique and special company that's launching today. It is an open software platform that really is targeted. It can work for small, medium, and large utilities, where you could share with the company the data, like a GIS information, SCADA data, maybe even AMI data, and quickly, and in a very open way, translate that into a real-time hydraulic model of your water utility. But this is really unbelievable, because if you have a real-time hydraulic model ingesting real-time data, as you know, in my world, that is the essence of a digital twin. And we know how powerful a model-based analytic tool is. It can provide all kinds of information, which you're going to hear a lot more from the panelists here. But I think this is a very exciting start to a company that can really allow many utilities that did not have the opportunity to build a real-time hydraulic model to quickly do it in an open platform. So with that, I'd like to introduce my friend Will Sarney, and he really doesn't need an introduction. Everyone knows Will, and I would love for him to tell his ideas about this. Thank you.
Gigi, thanks. And Andrew, I know how difficult it was for you to get up in front of a crowd and do that, and we really appreciate it. So thank you. It's tough being shy. So Will Sarney. I am a water strategy advisor for multinationals and water technology startups, early growth stage companies. I'm the CEO of Water Foundry, also the CEO of the Colorado River Basin Fund, which is a venture fund primarily focused on digital technologies. And if you, in fact, do know me, and you've heard me talk about a number of things that are important in the water sector, I tend to frame our water challenges as wicked water problems because they are in fact wicked, whether it's water scarcity, water quality, or inequity in access to it. And in order to solve wicked water problems, we need all stakeholders to be engaged, and we need to democratize access to not just data, but actionable information. And that's really key. So if you look at some of the big trends in the world of water, and what has been happening over the past year and a half, digital, in my view, is the biggest. And Qatium showing up and being part of that digital solution set and focusing on democratizing access to data and actionable information is really going to be key for us to solve some of the more pressing challenges we have in the utility sector. And one of the things I'm really impressed with is really not just the technical side, but the business strategy and really targeting small to mid-sized utilities, because there's a tendency to go after the big utilities, but we're never really going to solve wicked water problems unless we get to all sizes of utilities. So excited to be here and look forward to the conversation. And please, there's no slides. It's a conversation. So with that, Gavin.
Thank you very much, Will. Gavin Venton, previous president of Itron Water, left or was poached 3 years ago to go and put the water infrastructure in place in Neom in Saudi Arabia. So I've been there for 3 years, and the job is to basically bring water to the desert and do it in the most efficient way possible. So having been in Itron for a very long time, previously Schlumberger, we did a lot of work in Africa, a lot of work in South America, a lot of work in Asia, in very low-income areas where water utilities are very, very poor. And it's very difficult to see that because they have no idea what their network looks like. They have no idea really where the water's going. Their losses are sometimes 80%, by the way. And we've done a lot of work in that area to try and reduce those losses. But what we see now with the advent of 5G and IoT, and people will have different opinions of this, but 5G will enable us to get the cost of infrastructure extremely low. 5G will give us the depth and the penetration we need and the bandwidth we need in order to be able to read a range of sensors in the water industry with very long battery lifetimes. That would feed into IoT. But the problem we faced in Itron is we had, and everyone has all these smart meters and smart sensors, and at the end of the day, what you do with a smart meter is you invoice customers. And that's about as far as the data goes. And a smart meter is so much more than that, and you have all that data. What you have now with cloud-based platforms like Qatium is that you are able to input that data into a network and really see where the water is going. As long as you have a GIS point on each of those meters, which is not difficult to do, you can see where the water is flowing and you can start to analyze the whole network just with one small program. And I say it's small because it's going to get a lot larger, isn't it? But we've used it in NEOM, and we use it because we're implementing brand new networks and distribution networks, and then we use it to see where the resilience is, where the water quality will deteriorate, where there's dead ends, where we have to flush networks. It's a software that you can already do that with, and the benefit is that even like kind of non-engineer people like me can really understand it. You know, I don't need to go down into the details and start looking at these complicated models and that, because it's so visually beneficial for you that it's it just, I can present it to the CEO of NEOM and he really understands immediately where the issues lie, and he believes us immediately, and it makes CEO meetings, instead of 30 minutes, it makes it 5 minutes. So it's really, and the fact that anybody can use it and implement it is just amazing. So feel free to go out there and try it out, but I think I'm going to hand over to people that are actually responsible for the software, who will tell you more details about it.
Thank you, Gavin and Will. I think they gave us a very good introduction into the problems we're trying to solve. The application we want, small and medium utilities to have the same access to this data as the big players. We think that digital twins and these, the advice and information, the analytics you can get from them shouldn't just be for those who have large amounts of money and big budgets. We expect small, medium, and even large to benefit from this application. We're taking a totally different approach where we want the platform to be open for all to use. Doesn't matter if you don't have any models or you already have something developed. We have a way to work with you to get an operation, get operational decisions happening and working right now. And much to Gavin's point, it doesn't just have to be now engineers who are holding all the answers and gatekeeping the decisions that we need to make. The world is moving too fast for that. So now we want an application where an operator can come in and still get the same insights and information that he needs right now if there's an issue. So we hope that when people give it a try, they'll see just how much easier we're making life for people. We want a clean, beautiful interface that you can see up above me, that if you have quick questions, you can jump in onto any browser, click a location of main, and it will tell you all the insights you need. What's the pressure? What's the flow? If there's a break, how is it going to impact me? Which customers will be impacted? Or if you're looking at events such as fire flows or bursts or flushing, that is totally approachable for anyone without a huge amount of training to get it done. And then, Damien, you want to tell us some of the fundamentals of our platform as well?
Yes, thank you, Luke. So Qatium is a company based in Valencia in Spain, and it's been under construction for over a year. And in June this year, we opened the platform to early adopters, and we're very happy to welcome over 150 utilities around the world who were happy to use the platform. The company was founded by Roberto Tortoya, who's here, who's very shy. So Luke and I are speaking on his behalf. And he designed the company with 3 underlying principles. The first one is the concept of simplicity, that you do not need to be a hydraulic modeling expertise or have a PhD in computer science to run these types of platforms. So a lot of work has been done in streamlining the UI to keep it as simple and clean as possible. The second guiding principle is around accessibility. Because we sell and serve either progressive, small and medium utilities, but also the underserved utilities around the world, we wanted to make sure it was accessible even if you didn't have a very strong internet connection, a very powerful computer, or you didn't have a data center on premise. And beyond accessibility, the last one I think is probably the most important is this concept of openness. Open in the sense, from a technological perspective, Qatium is built on majority of open source frameworks, software frameworks. It's open in terms of our APIs are open, and we invite the open source communities or software developers to build and extend their models and their applications on top of our platform. It's open as well in terms of providing visibility on what the team is working on, what features we're working on, and our users are invited to vote on our features and suggest any feature they would like to see in the platform. The last thing I wanted to say was those 3 guiding principles have produced what I think is a novel business model in the water industry, a very simple pricing model, whereby 85% of the core features that you'll see in Qatium are for free, absolutely for free. We have a second package, which we're calling the premium package, which allows you to integrate more data sets than in the free model. And then we also have enterprise packages for more complex deployments, which I think a lot of you are familiar with. So those are the 3 guiding principles. And Gigi, I don't know if you want to open it up to questions.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you have any questions for this? Let me come down and I can actually share the microphone with you. Andrew.
What does this mean for the end consumer? So you talked about the utility advantages, but what about the end consumer? Will talked about democratization. Is there any interface or some way that the end consumer can interact with the system?
Excellent question. So transparency and visibility is a big deal. The problem is that a lot of people want it, but very few people offer it for obvious reasons. So we provide our users with 2 options. One is to keep their networks private and just share it and collaborate with their team members. But in the future, we're offering progressive-minded utilities and municipalities the opportunity to publish the state of their water network, their water quality in real time as part of an open data set. And we expect to see a lot more municipalities doing that in the future.
Do I hear a game changer? I mean, this is really amazing. It's a completely different way of working. Any other questions, any ideas, any suggestions that you have for the team?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes. When you said end consumer, did you mean the customer in the house, or did you mean the water utility? So I think the customer in the house generally doesn't care about water. As long as he turns on the tap and it's there, he's happy. But when you get old and you've had many houses, you suddenly realize that few of those houses have had leaks in it and damage in it. And the pressure can vary dramatically, which affects your refrigerator or your washing machine or everything. So having access to this, a network like this with pressure actually demonstrated on the network in real time, you can always tell what the pressure is in the whole network. And if you get a break anywhere, you can tell what you have to shut down. So we don't call them consumers anymore, we call them customers. They're much better. So the customer, the benefit they get is when there's a break in the line, you can see it and you can see the impact it's going to have, and you can design the network with resilience such that even if there is a break in the line, the customer will never get affected from that break because you've designed resilience in it. And this enables you to see whether you have resilience in your network.
Can NEOM use this to benchmark with other utilities?
The question is, can NEOM use this to benchmark with other utilities? I don't think we can use this because we are not building something that is very similar to other utilities.
Yeah, my name is Rudy Dijkstra. I'm from Quaint. So we perform condition assessment, and with the data we also work on prediction models. Is it possible to integrate this kind of data sources within the platform?
Yes, one of the future abilities we want in this source is to be able to interact with other providers, software providers, information sources. We want Qatium to be a source of trust that you can come to and get any information out. So if it is a predictive model for asset management or optimization or workforce management, we want you to be able to come in and work from here. So this is more about that openness where we want anyone to come in and build on top of. So if you're a supplier of anything that you think we can build on top, we want to hear from you and be able to help our customers work with you through this platform for sure.
Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, Tom.
You, Damien, you said you launched with 150 different utilities. Excuse me. Can you talk a bit about those guys, who the first adopters geographically, the size, and kind of how you convince them to adopt before the launch here?
Excellent question. There's a difference between convincing someone and persuading someone. At first, we definitely had to persuade utilities. They were reluctant to upload data to a company they don't know or trust with no brand equity or customers. So at first, it was a bit of an uphill battle. But once we got the first 5 or 10, I think other utilities started taking notice, and then things were much, much easier down the road. Typically, the typical utility operates a network at a town between 50,000 to about 500,000 inhabitants. They are equally spread around the world. We do have a concentration in North America, in Southern California, in Ontario, and other parts of the United States. We also have some 3 or 4 utilities here in the Netherlands. Some large ones as well in Spain, in the Balkans, in Ghana, in the Philippines, in the Middle East. And we expect to see a lot more demand coming from the emerging markets or emerging economies. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, and actually what I want to say another comment about this, because I'm part of a use case that we're working on right now in Southern California. And usually when a utility has a hydraulic model, they use that in the expansion and design phase. They hire an engineering company. You build a hydraulic model, you use it to test out certain regulations like your fire pressures and things like that. Then they sort of put it aside. And in order for them to take that hydraulic model and turn it into a real-time hydraulic model and then ingest real-time data, there's quite a few steps, and it's a really big challenge. And here, within just a few days, I witnessed it myself. They actually took, in this case, they took another existing model, but they could have also just taken GIS information and SCADA information, and quickly developed, within just a few days, a real-time hydraulic model based on the data that they were collecting. So that's why I really feel like this is a huge game changer in our market, and I cannot wait to see more and more utilities use it. Yes. I knew I was for some questions.
We spend a lot of energy and resources to bring water into cities, only for a third of it to be lost in the network. How can this impact water loss and non-revenue water? Also from a societal perspective, not only just pure cost.
I think having the sensors in the network and having meters in the network and being able to integrate them into a model like this allows you to separate out into different district meters areas or pressure management zones. Allows you to say, okay, if I'm going to have a district meter area of 1,000 houses or properties, then I need to put valves in certain areas. So it gives you the visibility of where you can put the valves in step 1. Step 2 then allows you to adjust the network such that you can monitor the losses from a water input to a water consumption. And then you target the areas that are the highest loss areas. If you just have the model all on its own like this, without having the meters with the measurements going through, it's very difficult. And that's where smart meters come into play. So what we've done in Africa was we don't put smart meters on every house. We put smart meters on 10% of the houses, because you only need them on 10% of the houses to start seeing where the flow rates are going and start getting an idea of a district metered area and where the losses are occurring. So it's a very inexpensive way, and having this model allows you to identify where to put those meters. You don't have to put them everywhere. So it allows you to start on a gradual basis. And what we actually did in Africa in the past was that we didn't charge to do this. We only shared in the savings on the losses and in the benefit of invoicing the people that were not paying because their meter was not working or there was tampering with the device. So it gives you the visibility as a step one to where you should be focusing on non-revenue water.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments? Anything you'd like to share? Should I talk about digital twin? No. Sorry. Okay. I think this, first of all, thank you all very much for coming. Thank you, Andrew, for bringing in the crowd. Thank you, and we'd love for you to talk to all of our panelists here. Go see the booths, see how it's actually working. And we have drinks available as well, so please treat yourself to some great drinks. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Is that okay? I don't know how you turn this off, but...
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks.
You did fantastic. Thank you.
Gigi or Gigi?
Gigi.
We're back in.
Well done. Thank you so much.